Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to our discussion on the principles of teaching, and under this is we're going to discuss the selection and use of teaching strategies. So now we're going to dig deeper on the guiding principles in the selection and use of teaching strategies. So here are some guiding principles on it. And the first one is learning is an active process. This means that we have to actively engage the learners in learning activities if we want them to learn what we intend to teach. In context, we mean that nobody can learn for us in the same way that nobody can eat for us, nor live for us, nor die for us. Kumbaga, walang maglo-learn para sa atin, no? Walang kakain para sa atin, no? 'Yun yung minimin sa first principle na 'yan. So, meaning to say, we eat for ourselves, we live for our own life, and die our own death. And only I, kung ako yung learner, only I can learn for myself. And as a learner, I must, therefore, be actively engaged in the learning process. So if it is kung ibang tao yung nag-learn on my behalf, then hindi ako yung natuto. Got it? So yan yung minimin natin sa learning is an active process. Okay. So the next one is the more the senses that are involved in learning, the more and the better the learning is. So more and better learning appeal to all the senses of the learners if possible. Now, in teaching methodology, the most effective is the use of a combination of 3 or more senses or multi-sensory aids. No? Hindi enough na ang ginagamit lang ng learner is the sight sense. No? Dapat active din yung hearing. No? Or merong a combination of touch, taste, and smell kapag sa mga experimentation. No? Yan yung minimin natin sa multisensory aids. No? According to Torres 1994, 75% no, 75% involves the sight. No? Most of the time, ginagamit talaga natin yung sight or yung seeing na sense. Then, 13% niyan is hearing, no? Yung pandinig. Then 6% yung touch. Then 3% yung smell. And then the last one is same 3% yung taste, no? Yan yung distribution daw or the contribution of the senses to learning, no? And the better is to combine 2 or more senses para talaga maging meaningful yung learning. Okay. The next one is emotion has the power, no? The emotion has the power to increase retention and learning, no? So or that's the fourth one, no? The fourth one, emotion has the power to increase retention and learning. So the third one pala is a non-threatening atmosphere enhances learning. So when you say non-threatening atmosphere, yung free yung bata na mag-express ng mga expression niya, no, sa learning environment na meron siya. So ikaw na teacher, you should create a non-threatening atmosphere that is conducive to learning, and we must not ignore the creation of psychological atmosphere that is supportive to learning. Kumbaga, yung bata pagpasok pa lang niya is ma-feel niya na the classroom is or the learning environment is very welcoming. It's okay to fail, but you need to learn from those failure. Yun yung nasa mindset dapat ng bata, no? That's non-threatening atmosphere. That also includes yung mga kinds of students, no, na mababait. Yung bata feel niya secured siya pagdating niya sa classroom na yon. Okay, so the fourth one is emotion has the power to increase retention and learning. So it involved the emotion in learning. Now, cognitive processing is emotionally charged accordingly. So we tend to remember and learn more those that strike our hearts. Totoo naman din, no? So in fact, the more emotionally involved our students become in our lesson, the greater the impact. No, importante pa rin yung emotion, yung appeal to the heart, no? Kumbaga. So the more intense the arousal, the stronger the imprint sa mind ng mga bata. Then let us not feel afraid to bring in emotion into our classrooms, and let us add an emotional touch to learning. And without the emotional dimension, our subject matter will remain cold and lifeless. And that's true, no? Okay. The fifth one is learning is meaningful when it is connected to students' everyday life. So, for learning, for meaning, connect your teaching to your students' everyday life. Kung makaka-relate talaga sila sa lesson mo, that's the time na masasabi mo, they are learning meaningfully. No? Because you are using their experiences, the current trends na nakaka-relate sila sa pagtiteach. No? So, we teach today, ask them to copy and memorize what we taught them. Then the following day, yan yung example, no? Then the following day, we test them on how much they have retained from what we taught yesterday. No? So, we repeat the process, no? Day in and day out, we deposit information into their heads, which are likened to empty receptacles. Then withdraw the same in a test. So at the end of the term, we withdraw everything in the final examination. So yan yung mga traditional na sistema ng education. Ang tawag dyan is yung banking system. No? Pero today, iba na, no? We need to teach meaningfully. So, the meaningfulness and relevance of what we teach is considerably reduced by our practice of teaching simply for testing. So, hindi yan siya, we should avoid yung pagtiteach ng facts and then at the end, quiz agad. No, we should teach meaningfully. Relate them the lessons that we are going to teach to them. No, make it meaningful for the students. Okay, so that's it. Next we have the sixth one. Good teaching goes beyond recall of information. So ideally, our teaching should reach the levels of application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation to hone our students' thinking skills. No? Yan siya. So most teachings are confined to recall of information and comprehension. So the ideal is that we will reach the levels of this, no? The application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Kumbaga, the teaching is not merely just memorization of the information. It should go beyond, no? The recall of information. Dapat may application, may analysis, may synthesis and evaluation para talaga mahone natin yung thinking skills. 'Di ba maraming components yung thinking skills. We have the divergent thinking, convergent, the manipulative, the creative, the creative and critical thinking. No? So, yan dapat yung mahone sa mga students natin. Then the next one is an integrated teaching approach is far more effective than teaching isolated bits of information. So, for effective teaching, it is imperative to possess a repertoire of teaching and testing strategies and techniques to reach a full range of students with varied learning styles and multiple intelligences. So, again and again, it has been discussed in the previous lessons that we had. We should teach in consideration with the learning styles na meron yung mga bata and multiple intelligences that they really possess. So, we should tailor our teaching strategies to what they have, no, to what they possess, or kung ano yung need nila at yung kaya nilang kaya ng kanilang intelligences, or ano yung intelligences nila. So for example, if they are into verbal linguistic, then you should align your teaching into a different classroom activities, just such as debates, journal writing, essays, kasi they're more into verbal linguistic. For example naman, kung they are more bodily kinesthetic, then ang ating mga activities should involve role-playing, dance, hands-on demonstrations, yun siya, no? So, it should be aligned to their multiple intelligences. And in that way, again, the learning will become meaningful and remarkable, no, for our students. Okay, so an integrated approach incorporates a successful research based and brain based instructional strategies. So, there are different instructional strategies or brain based strategies that we can use. The first one is involving students in real life or authentic problem solving. Next, using projects to increase meaning and motivation, simulations and role plays, classroom strategies using visual processing, songs, jingles, and raps. So they compose the original songs and jingles and raps, mnemonic strategies, writing strategies, active review, and hands-on activities. So yun yung mga brain-based strategies na pwede nating gamitin, no, sa loob ng klase. And then we have also here the integrated approach is also interdisciplinary. It means that it includes an instructional approach is also integrated. It includes the acquisition of knowledge. Kumbaga, it involves different disciplines, no? Yung minimin natin dyan sa integrated approach. Again, it involves various disciplines and they cross together, no? And that's the time that we can say that we are using integrated approach. Okay. So, for example, no, bigyan natin ng example to siya. An integrated approach is also interdisciplinary. For example, hindi lang interdisciplinary but also multidisciplinary. No? For example, if you teach science, you interrelate and connect the topic care for environment with the kinds of pollution and global climatic changes within the science subject itself. So this is interdisciplinary. No? So, or if your content in science is used to teach grammar and values in the languages, and then this is multidisciplinary. So, this integration is one thing that is emphasized also in the K to 12 curriculum. Again, when we teach with integrated approach, it includes not just acquisition of knowledge, but also skills and values. So, yun yung minimin natin sa concept na to. Okay, next we have the next principle. There is no such thing as best teaching method. And the best method is the one that yields results. So, meaning to say, walang best teaching method. It will really depend on how you execute that method na nag-work and how you see the result, kung maganda ba yung result ng method na yon. So, kung maganda, then we can say that that's the best method. Kung hindi, then we should improve that method. Because for others, it may be the best. No? Because it depends on how you implement that or how you use that method. Okay? So, again, all methods are good. It depends on how we execute them. No? So, there are factors to consider in the choice of a teaching method. So, The first one is the instructional objective. Second, the nature of the subject matter, the learners, the teacher, and school policies. And kung okay yung limang yan, then we can say that okay yung isang teaching method. But if in case na may mali dyan, no? May mali dyan sa among those elements, then we can say na baka hindi okay yung method na yon. Again, it will still depend on these elements. So when our lesson um, is focused on the master of a skill like writing a paragraph, we will need a strategy different from that which we employ when we intend to teach an appreciation lesson. No? Magkaiba, no? It depends on the field then na tinuturo natin. No? Okay, so we cannot be Superman or Superwoman for this exist only in movies, no? Hindi natin kayang gawin ang lahat. No? And that's the limitation of a teacher and also tao lang din, no? So however, we can do what we can where we are. For after all that is expected of us, a repertoire of proven effective teaching strategies will be of great help. No? Again, we can say that this is the best method if yung limang ito is okay. No? Kumbaga, wala tayong naging problema sa limang yan. Okay, so I think that would be all for our discussions on the principles of selection and use of teaching strategies. Okay, so thank you for listening. Again, there are a lot of principles pa. These are just some of the principles, no? Yung na-discuss natin. Marami pa to siya. It's just that ito yung nakastate sa libro and then we will add more in the coming lessons pa. Okay, so I think that would be all. Thank you for listening.